Mm-hmm. Oh, mentally exhausting. Jesus. Come on, don't do this to me. Don't freeze right now. It's not the time. Ugh. Boy. Nope. Bro. This is a lot. I mean, dude, like, this is a fucking lot. Oh, there's so much. There's so much. Mm. Excuse me. We have the fucking boob. Yay. Okay. God, thanks for watching that. Or watching, listening, you know. That was fucking a fucking lot. That was just a fucking shit ton. Okay. This situation has just gotten to a point of like I don't want it's not stupid. Let me not say that. That's the first word I want to say. That is not the word I would describe for the situation. It has gotten to a point of where there's a lot of miscommunication. I mean, from both people. So I watched the entire thing. First of all, I saw the drama channels underneath being like, I stand with Jesse. I'm like, did you even listen to the call? Like, low key, she didn't say this, but the vibe I got off from her and Gabbie throughout the entire thing, like you're all troglodytes, pretty much. Like they all agree that y'all just kept misconstruing information and not really listening to either side and coming to random ass conclusions like I stand with Jesse. Well, Jesse is basically calling you a troglodyte. Like not actually, but she's very much just saying like y'all misconstrued a bunch of shit and though I cleared it up, these people they're like people just aren't gonna listen. Some people just are just brain dead. Not everybody, but most people were fucking brain dead. And it's like, all right, cool. Didn't like could tell that you didn't listen to shit anybody said. And kind of telling, but it's whatever. Also, hello. Um, although I think they made, I think they made fair bit of actual like they got somewhere in this conversation. I have to say that at the end of the conversation, Gabbie's solution doesn't make like a lick of sense. Sorry if I'm not drawing, I'm looking up a reference right now. But Gabbie's solution makes not a lick of sense. So Gabbie's solution to everything is that basically Jessie has signed an NDA where she doesn't get to talk about this anymore at all and doesn't get to bring it up, but Gabbie gets to bring it up in interviews and things like that and talk about it, even though she knows that she has memory problems. She had memory problems in this specific call where she said things and then later, like, not retracted them, but said something different or said that it was a different situation and didn't clarify. And then just, like, some of the stuff I'm just like, okay, well, and then some of the stuff that she didn't even realize that she said or realize that she did or she had to apologize for because she didn't, a lot of stuff she didn't remember. So basically, she can maybe misconstrue something, and if she doesn't feel like she has to respond to it or she doesn't hear back that it's a misconstrued thing, it will just end up getting, conflated and bullshitted out by whoever wants to hear it again. And so it's like, okay, that's not a good solution to the situation, because it's literally gonna be the exact same thing, because she's like, well, I didn't really talk about it like that and it got misconstrued. Okay, so if Jesse doesn't really talk about it like that and you do, it's just gonna be the exact same thing. And especially with her wanting Jesse to have a public apology about the things that she did get wrong, because in not in Gabbie's defense, but from her own words, there were some things that she had gotten wrong, or things that she had to apologize for, and that's understandable that she would want an apology for the things that Jesse did get wrong. But some of the stuff, Jesse was just like, I said what I said, and you need to be okay with that, because that's how I feel, which is understandable, especially in the circumstances. And so, how can I explain it? Try to find the best way to say this. Even though that option really isn't the best, in my opinion, like, at all, I do think that this whole thing isn't really, both of their actions caused this to be bigger than it was, but it wasn't really them. A lot of the time, it just seemed like they were talking about things they heard from other people. Things that I think they were over emotional and took like not the way it was supposed to be intended. And even though they apologized for some and stuck by their guns on some other things, I think it mainly was just like, if this situation wasn't Gabbie Hanna, the singer, the YouTuber, the poet, or whatever she wants to label herself, and it wasn't Jesse Smiles, the YouTuber, I feel like this could be deaded as like, I don't fuck with this bitch, and it could have been ended. Because even when Jessie said the things that she said and she made the statements that she made, she wasn't malicious in those ways. But because it's the internet and drama, everybody took it every way it wasn't supposed to be. And I think it just continued on with that. So now it's to the point where some of the statements or things being made weren't even supposed to be taken like that. And even if they did, it's not that serious. I hope I'm making sense. It's hard if you didn't listen to it. But, it's the same thing with like the Bianca Devins thing, and I don't want to be like trying to push her name out there. So I never really talked about the situation because it was fucking stupid in the first place. Even though I know, even though I'm sure drama channels didn't mean to cause harm in that situation, they did, point blank, period. They can deflect all they want, they can try to fucking savior each other if they want to. That happened. I was gonna make a whole thing about this, but I still might make a quick video about it. That whole situation pisses me off. Because they're trying to say they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Okay, all of you didn't do that, but a majority of you did. Rebzilla straight up was slandering Gabbie. It's just what it was. Point blank, period. I can't lie to you and say he didn't. He did. I even watched Ray DeGlaire's video on it. Not like the apology. If you go into her apology video, there's an unlisted video. The shit she said, out of pocket. I'm like, that's shitty because I watched you and I fucking like you. But I was fucking like, the fact that she even had that opinion there, it was just like, no, that's not okay. It wasn't okay. It just wasn't. And they want to die on this hill like they can somehow justify any of their friends' actions. Not everybody, just saying some people are. Or that, like, they can't, in that sense. So when Gabbie called them out for it, when Gabbie called, like, Angelica Oles out for doing her stuff, and she swore, I didn't even put her name in the stuff. Well, you put her name in the thumbnail. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm going to blur it. Well, wasn't it okay? It wasn't good enough for Gabbie to blur it. So how is it good enough for you to blur it in your thumbnail? Make it make sense. Like, you get where I'm saying? And even though they all weren't trying to cause harm, I'm sure they were just trying to do what we do, which is usually, I say we, but do what they do, which is speculate, put their opinion out there on the situation. And Gabbie wasn't really responding to anybody, nor did she put out an apology, so they were just kind of speculating. And I'm sure they did not mean a malicious intent and to cause harm, but they did. Even the mom came out and said that they did, and they're still doing this shit. If they had just given Gabbie an apology and just said, even though, like, even if they're just like, even though you said all this, you're still trash, because Gabbie is still trash, that would have been understandable. But they were just like, nah, we weren't trying to, we didn't mean, blah, blah, blah. And again, not everybody, this is just some people. And it's like, listen, you did it. You did it. The mom didn't even like you doing it. Like, this could be ended already. You know what I mean? It doesn't take away for anything that Gabbie has done. It doesn't make her a better person because of it. It's just, you made an oopsie. And that's kind of it. God, my pin's fucked up now. Damn it. Let me fix it really quickly. No, but, it was that type of shit that we were just like, I guess bothersome is the best word I can, describe that as. Fuck. And in this situation, even though this is probably not as cut and dry, honestly, and they're not trying to make cut and dry in the other situation, but in this situation, even though it's not as cut and dry, there were things that were said that either weren't true, or people didn't remember, or it was just such a long time ago, or it was... And it's just like... Listen, as much as Gabbie wants vindication for this, she will never get it. Because honestly, it's not really Jesse. And that's kind of the big thing that I don't think that Gabbie is seeing, is that she thinks that it's Jesse. She even says herself, and I don't think she recognizes that this will come up in interviews later, whether Jesse apologizes and all that stuff or not. It's not because Jesse started it either. It's because people have this perception, because they didn't want to do 5 minutes of research. They have this perception of her, and it is what it is. Whether it's true or not, which that's debatable with all the information that I've seen at this point. It's debatable whether the situation is true, whether she did this, that, and the third. The perception is already out there. Hell, people were misconstruing Jesse's words. So to think that they would be even listening to Gabbie or even trying to hear her side of it is ridiculous. Like, of course they're not going to. They don't care. They care about how they feel, and it's their opinion, even though these type of opinions, even though these opinions can be slanderous, we make opinions about people all the time, and we don't think about the hurt and harm it can cause to people. And I think Gabbie just isn't prepared for that. Because it's like, it's kind of like how, what the Britney thing. Do you get where I'm saying? People said all types of shit about her. It's like even what's her name? God damn it, I can't forget the fucking girl's name. Damn, I should know her name. What's her name? God damn it. What is her name? What is that girl's name? Fuck, I can't remember her name. Okay, my point is, it's like many superstars that we don't think about, but we talk about their lives, we shit on them, we talk about everything like that. Hello, I'm gonna read your comments in a second. We talk about their shit all the time, not thinking about what our words could do or how it could affect them, whether it's calling someone difficult, whether it's saying they did this, that, and the third one, we don't even know if they did, whether it's just hearing rumors, whether it's just making memes, we don't think about the attachments they can bring. And even though I feel bad for Gabbie, in the sense of there are a lot of lies that have been told about her and a lot of falsehoods and miscommunications, and people calling her a rape apologist isn't really even something I feel like even Jesse agrees with at this point. Now, was she at one point, or did she do things that gave off that impression? That's even debatable. But now calling her that, or assuming that's what she's doing in any way, shape, or form, is just not true. It's just not true. And I'm not saying that's coming out of everybody's mouth, but most people have that impression of her when that's just factually incorrect. Now, do I think that she's being disrespectful to Jesse in some cases? Yes, but even then, that's like, I can't even say 100% she is. In a lot of the cases, I think she's just to trying to get this narrative off of her that I don't think she can actually get off of her. If that makes sense. Because again, it's not just like Jesse and her have already kind of like they kind of made it understood in that call that they've been had the exact same opinion they've been had, which is we hate each other. We not hate, but like we don't like each other. If we talk shit about each other, or we talk shit. You know what I mean? Because it's for Gabby to say act like she's never said anything. It's like, nah, you just never said anything with her name in it, or that she never like. We kind of all got that feeling from both of you, and the only reason all this is coming back anyways is because people didn't like her at the time and they brought it up to be like a got you type thing or to show a pattern of behavior and things like that. It really wasn't because of Jessie entirely. I could say that she contributed to it, but even then it's like if she doesn't like you or she doesn't like what she said, she can say something about you, and it is mainly because she is being attacked by people that tend to stretch the truth and contort things. And her whole defense of like, what was her name? The girl named Deanna. Her messaging that one fan because she messaged something and talking about the situation. It's like, okay, well, that's a private conversation. Well, if you were dumb enough to think that that was going to stay private, you're wrong. Because even thinking about it, Jesse didn't hack the girl's phone and find that conversation. That didn't happen. Deanna came to Jesse with that information. So again, if you were dumb enough to think that was going to stay private, and that's a private conversation, you should have shared that. Somebody came to that girl with that information. So it must not have been as private as you thought it was going to be. Do you get where I'm saying? So while I understand that she wants an apology for that, you really shouldn't be looking for Jesse to be apologizing for showing information to. If it was going to be brought to her, it was going to be brought to whoever. Like, if you really think Deanna wasn't sharing that information, I doubt it. You don't just bring. Oh, if it's a private conversation like that, that wasn't going to stay private. It just wasn't. Give me a second. I gotta answer my DoorDash first. Sorry, it's asking. I had to get my thing. Not building, whatever. It's not really building, but you get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, it was a whole thing. That whole listening to that whole conversation was mentally exhausting for me. That wasn't even going through it. So I get how they might have felt and why they might have felt the way that they felt, because they were just kind of arguing at that point, not semantics, but like, you said this about me, or you liked a tweet, or you were implying these things, and it's like, a lot of the time y'all didn't say, neither of you said shit directly to each other. It was just kind of, this was implied. You said this, you did this, no, not you said this, but you did this, you liked this tweet, and it's like, or you put this in the tags, or you did this, and I'm like, so subtweeting. And again, from my understanding, Jesse, I don't think, I might be wrong about this, but I don't think Jesse ever said that she was a rape apologist in any of the public conversations. I don't even think in the message that was put out that she even put out the rape. Like, that's not what Jesse has said. This is what everybody else is saying. And guess what? As we saw with the Bianca Devin stuff, no matter what she says, that is going to be the narrative, because people are insane. It's just what it is. And so as much as I want to be like, yeah, I get why this is happening, it's also like, no, because you're trying to have somebody else's actions affect a bunch of people that at this point, with another situation, are not going to listen. If Jessie had did the thing that Gabbie wanted her to do, that wouldn't have changed anything. It just wouldn't have. Like, you have people trying to make it, like, trying to connect Gabbie to exploiting a girl's murder, and like, when they're doing stuff like that off of nothing, really, I don't know what you're expecting from this situation, Gabbie. I really don't. These people are crazy, like, just point blank, period. And so, as much as I want to, again, sympathize with Gabbie, I also have to be like, you're expecting something from other people, or you're expecting something from one person to affect other people who aren't going to listen in the first place. So what's the point? Because a long time, Jesse never said any of these things. It was just liking tweets and like petty bullshit that she's apologized for at this point, and it doesn't really end up mattering, because again, that's not the reason people are saying all this. Because Jesse never said a lot of this. A lot of this was contorted by other people as if Jesse said it, if that makes sense. Like, at this point, you need to straight up be holding the people who have said this accountable and suing them at this point. And I don't usually like to do that, I guess, say things like that, because I don't really feel like suing anybody is necessary in most cases. But if you really think it's that pressure, like, go to the people who actually said these things and do it from there. Because going to the person who, they're already twisting that person's words, it's not cool. It's not gonna make a difference at that point. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and how I feel. Give me a second. I need to go get my fucking stuff from downstairs. I'll be right back. So fucking good in my room. So fucking good as hell. I lit a candle and it's berry cheesecake, and I just like walked in, smelled it. That's fucking good. Anyways, hate running up the stairs. Okay. As I said, I think it's just, I wouldn't say a misunderstanding. It's just a bunch of miscommunications. And just, it's a lot now. And I feel like if it could end between those two people, it would. But no matter what anybody says at this point, it won't end. Jesse and her could delete all their videos and say, don't say shit about it. Gabbie could never say nothing. Jesse could never say nothing. And they could say, we're both wrong, or we both are wrong in our own ways, and though we do not agree with each other. Like, stop calling Gabbie this, because it's not. It is what it is. It could end like that, but it won't. And I think at this point, it's not Jesse's fault. It really is not. I don't care if she started this. I don't care, because even if she tried to rectify it now, it wouldn't. Which she doesn't even really need to rectify a lot of anything. But even if she tried to rectify it, quote unquote, now, it wouldn't. It really would not matter. It would just be like talking to a brick wall. They would not care. I like drama channels, and I like a lot of the channels that I'm thinking about when saying all this. But, not just the people that I've named, I'm not thinking about them specifically, but I'm thinking about a few when I say all this, and they don't care. Like, it really is a thing about certain situations you shouldn't really talk about because it doesn't really add to anything. So, example, even like with this situation, no matter what happens, Gabbie's still a scumbag. And she's admitted that herself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that because, I don't really like her, so, like, she's a scumbag. I mean, she's admitted that herself, that, like, she's acting like a terrible person, like with the Escape the Night shit, you know what I mean? Like, she said herself that, like, she called that lady a fucking, or, well, no, I don't think she said that she did that, but she said herself that she was just angry and frustrated, and even though she tried to justify herself, she still acted in a fucking immature way. I don't care if they didn't have healthy snacks or some shit for you, or you at your diet, like, you could have fucking brought the shit yourself, like shut up. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like in these scenarios, that's understandable for it to be like a big thing, not a big thing, but like talked about, because it's like, okay, it's her being like a bitch on a set. Like, it's not that serious. It won't do much, and at this point, like, you did the action, it is what it is. But I don't know, even the fact that I didn't even know this, because they don't fucking talk about this shit. They really don't. They've been hounding Gabbie for years. I didn't realize that fucking Alex lived with the guy several times after, and there were several people hanging out with the guy afterwards. Like, that happened. Like, they're getting on Gabbie, but nobody talks about that shit. Nobody's mad at that person for not doing that, or this person for not. Where's that? Did they apologize publicly several times? Are they being brought up every time? Even if Gabbie does apologize, is it really going to end there? I don't believe that. It's just, as much as I want to be like, hold people accountable, At one point, it's not about that. Let's be honest here. It's not about that. It's not about holding her accountable. It's about we think she's a shitty person and we don't think she deserves her platform for this, that, and third. So we're gonna do everything in our power to make sure that she never recovers from it. Which is stupid because how many times has Trisha Paytas fucked up? And but they were during the entire podcast. She said sorry. She's not that person anymore. She learned from it. Sure, she literally went on a whole thing offending whoever she could for clout, but she's a better person now because she's with Ethan and his family. Oh my god, still to this day they'll well, she's better now and she tried to learn and and this is all dumb and oh my god, it was annoying them justifying how terrible of her. I think Trisha Paytas is trash. She's actually like just the worst person, and her actions get excused way too much. It's like, well, it was a long time ago, or it was like she didn't like she apologized and she knows how wrong it was. She knew what the fuck she was doing. How old is she? How old is Trisha Paytas? How old? She's 33. Nah, she did some career-ruining shit. She's 33? Damn. But she's done some career-ruining shit. But she did this other good stuff, so it's fine. Like, okay, and she's still, like, fucking crazy. Like, let me not say crazy. That's rude. But she's done some stuff where it's like, I don't care how mentally unwell you were, they don't, like, no. People don't do that. And or you've even talked about it. It was not because you were mentally unwell. It was because you're doing it because you want attention. Because you knew it would blow up your shit. Stop acting like you didn't admit to this stuff. And just because you apologize for it doesn't make it better. Because you've done it, like, how many times? So apologizing for one, like, I'm sorry that I did it, and I'm a terrible person. Okay, and you're still good off of it. Nothing really happened to you. People shat on you, and that still got your numbers up. You got the attention that you wanted. But it was negative attention. You wanted that. You got that. And you're still doing the same shit. And just now you had fucking Ethan as a person to back up your bullshit. And it's like, bro, nah. God, all I want to draw... Okay. This is a whole problem. All I want to fucking draw is butts. And I keep, like, going through my references, and all I see are, like, NSFW stuff. I'm just like, I can't draw that. It's a vagina. Okay. I can't do that. Damn. I hate that. I need to stop having references for butts. Not stop having them, but just that chill out on that being my only reference. Yeah, I gotta chill out. I need to find, like, a new thing. Anyways, it's dumb. The moment when your teacher asks you if you were paying attention and all you can say is, what class am I in? And what the hell is the social studies? Also, I like the drawing you are going to call it an essential god, aka white background with nothing on it. Oh yes, I love this drawing. Wait, there we go, it's finished. What do you mean by murder? Actually, Trisha is no longer working on the podcast. She has been replaced. Yeah, no, I saw that. That thing was stupid as well. Because Ethan's been doing the same shit. So I'm just like, you're both toxic and problematic, and you're mad that it clashed. Like, what? Like, it's like he's still using Etika as like a fucking like a shield, a weapon. I mean, I'll say a shield, it's more of a weapon. He's still using Erica as a weapon, still to this day. Still does it. and Trisha, she's being like this, and she's being mean to people sometimes, and I know I'm lying about her, but it's like different because she said some stuff that was insensitive. And even though I've said some stuff that's insensitive, I said obviously, and everybody thinks it's a joke, so it doesn't even matter. That whole situation is basically fucking the pot calling the kettle black. It's ridiculous. And, you know, again, Trisha's as problematic as Gabbie, so it's like, oh, well, Trisha, you're doing the most. And it's like, right, Ethan's totally, like, fine in the situation. He's not just as fucking toxic and honestly helped to fester that environment by actively lying or anything. That never happened. Anyways, I said what I said, so it doesn't even matter. But, anyways. Like, it's just hypocrisy at its finest. And again, with the Gabbie thing, it's the same shit. It's just, well, it's not the same shit, I'm sorry. It's just her wanting something she's never going to get because she's asking it from the wrong people. And the people that she should be asking it from are never going to give it to her. So she's basically just talking to somebody that basically just didn't do anything to do something, and it's just, it's foolishness. I mean, I get why she's doing it, don't get me wrong, but she's just not going to get the results because it's not from the people who are actually damaging her. It's the same thing of like, she can ask the mom to do certain, or she can ask the mom of Bianca Devins to say certain things so people know, you know, that she's not a bad person or whatnot, but it's really not, like, she can say that, or she can ask her, but the people who said the stuff in the first place don't really care. Like, they never really did, and why she thought hearing it from the, which just sounds crazy, but hearing it from the victim's mother would help. They didn't even take the courtesy after Gabbie reached out to her. So, and didn't issue an apology, didn't take down the videos, didn't do actually anything. So why she expected that to happen, I don't really understand at all. Again, it's just a mess. Everything has just been a mess. And it's just, I listened to that conversation. The only thing I got out of it was, you did something wrong. Gabbie obviously did something wrong in the beginning. She apologized for it. Some things she just not admitting to. But a lot of it she apologized for it. None of it really makes her a rape apologist, in my opinion. She is doing that type of I would say that she did do that type of behavior, but she's not apologizing for what he did. She's actively saying that she said from the get-go that he didn't do it. Hell, to be fair, well, I can't say that. I'm not gonna say that. But I will say that even though she said that, she still has to realize because she made that mistake in the first place, she will be paying for it for the rest of her life. That's kind of how most things work. And not necessarily because of Jesse, but just because the internet is toxic. That's kind of how most things work. You're going to be apologizing for that pretty much forever. And as much as that sucks, as much as that's, I feel like it's a thing that shouldn't be a thing, it is. You know? And the best she can do at this point is just, again, like, she's trying to, or she was not trying to sue, but she was in the fucking Discord with the kids talking about suing. Like, this should go to drama channels at that point. Like, if they're actively saying something that is not true, as factually incorrect, the first thing I would do is go to them and be like, I'm going to sue you. And I wouldn't even be like, they get on her. I wouldn't get on her for that. If she was just like, you are saying things that are not true. They're just not. And you are putting out a narrative about me that is also just not true. And you can show the judge your bullshit information, and we can let it slide. Her doing that to Jesse really doesn't do much, because she really didn't say much about it. So it is what it is. Again, I don't think Gabbie Hanna burglar is going to listen to me at all. I should not say that, because I feel like it's going to come off as rude, or ruder than it is. But I don't think Gabbie is going to fucking listen to that. And she has done things that are genuinely not okay. Like the whole escape the night thing is not okay. All of her behavior with the kids in the Discord is not okay. The Trisha thing was stupid as well, now I think about it. We're going to listen to the phone call. Unfortunately, you're going to have to go to Gabbie's channel and the video she has about the phone call, or Jesse. It's the one, what's the video name? Let me see. Where did I get this from? It's about the 3-hour Jesse Smiles phone call. That video, she lists the unlisted video, and that's the phone call itself. And you can listen to the whole thing. It's just them, and you could tell. I think it was like around an hour or two, or in between like an hour or two. They come to an understanding of like, okay, I said this, I didn't say this. Okay, I'm sorry for saying this. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I also feel this way. They came to an understanding. That phone call could have been done in an hour. It's just the understanding of what needs to happen after this is kind of where they got into a real argument, in my opinion. Because Jesse cannot forgive her for talking to Curtis if she would like to. I understand that, and I wholeheartedly don't blame her for not forgiving her in that sense. How can I say this? That's understandable, right? But also, that's different. From, well, let's just say I can understand why she can say that. I understand that. It's, how can I say this without it sounding as bad as it fucking sounds? It's just, it's hard for me to really, okay, God, it's really hard for me to, because whoever I say it about, and it's not necessarily about Jesse, but it's gonna come off insensitive either way. I'm just not gonna say it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just not gonna say it. So ignoring whatever I was trying to say, that's a fine point for Jesse to say, and she can feel the way she feels because it happened to her, and the situation has to do with her. But when it comes to, oh, that looks really weird. When it comes to drama channels and shit, maybe it's just a thing of me listening to how somebody feels and calling someone something that person didn't even say is different. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Like, if I said I was her, let's say, well, actually, let's go with the Trisha Paytas situation. If Trisha says that her and Gabbie were never friends, that's an okay thing to say because she feels that way. She feels like maybe it came off as friendship or she took it as friendship, but that's not how I meant it because whatever reasoning for that. Does that automatically mean that her and Trisha weren't friends? Not really, because there's evidence that could say otherwise. It's hard for me to fucking explain this without it sounding fucking. There's no way for me to explain this without it sounding terrible. Let me. How can I put my words? How can I put this into words? I like going off of things people said. I don't like going off of subtweets. I don't like going off of this is suggested. I like going off of what people have said. And even if I put that into consideration, I will say that this is how it came off to me. But this could be wrong because it could be wrong. But some people tend to put it as if, oh no, this is what happened because it's how it came off, or this is what it is. There are certain things I can understand, but most of the time, like with the Bianca Devin situation, it's like, that's not what happened, though. But you can say that, but it's not what fucking happened. And in this situation where something is more serious, to misconstrue something like that, it can do more damage than you think. Because you think, oh, well, okay, well, I just said something that kind of was wrong, but it's right enough for me to, and it's like, well, in everybody else's case, it's like, okay, well, you said what you said, and it must be right, because I trust you, and you said it, and it could potentially ruin someone else's life. So that's why I personally just would rather people just go off of, I don't like the way this pose is working out. People personally just go off of what people say, but then again, I'm thinking of things that I want to say, but I'm like, who am I talking to? So that's another thing I'm trying to, also trying to, understand in my head. I'm like, who am I talking to? Because they don't care. They're not going to listen. They're just going to be like, well, I still think this, so it doesn't really matter. So it is what it is, and I don't want to talk about this anymore. It really is a mentally exhausting conversation. Because you're basically trying to argue. I won't say argue. You're trying to talk about the intent of something and what something possibly could be, and we're not really talking about what it is. And even if we talk about what it is, it just muddies it up because it's just a whole. Okay, it's a lot of speculation or assumptions or talking about speculations or assumptions. Like a lot of times Gabbie was like, well, you said this about me and this was clearly about me, and it's like, well, you don't know that, but you're assuming, and it's like, okay, well, this is what it could be because this tweet that you liked, and so that's what could have been perceived from that. And it's like, okay, well, I didn't do that. Well, they all said this, and I thought that you started this, or I think that you really started this. And it's like, well, I didn't even really ever say that. People got that impression, but I never said that. Or I did say that about this specific thing, and it's like, that's kind of a lot of what this is. It's just, not just from Gabbie, by the way. A lot of it is just, well, yeah, but this could be perceived that way, And while I can see from both people's sides of how it can be perceived that way in a lot of scenarios, how it was perceived that way, at the end of the day, drama channels suck. That's kind of what you should take away from this entire live stream, is drama channels suck. They don't care about facts. They mainly care about people's opinions. And even then, they'll conflate the two. Or rather confuse them. I guess conflate isn't the right word. They'll confuse the two. They'll confuse a fact with an opinion. They'll confuse an assumption with an opinion with the facts. And it's just, they've done that for years. And again, they did that with a lot of scenarios. Like the fucking, like, it's just a lot. Because you can't really get mad at people for that entirely, but you can. It's hard to say and express. All I know is I'm exhausted from that conversation and listening to it, and honestly, I think it all should be deaded. Well, I think it really was dead at the end. It's not deaded by the people who should probably dead it, which is, in my opinion, every person who's ever talked about it. That's not the main people involved. Because the main people seem to really have dead it. Like, I said what I said. We said it. We said what we said to each other. That's the end of it. But I don't know. I was gonna I had notes about this, but honestly, God, it's hard to talk about these without also talking about the context behind them and the things that people have said and done. And it just gets muggy. It just gets muggy. It's just going to be a repeat process, I guess. And I'm repeating myself at this point. And I haven't drawn shit because I'm still, looking for a decent reference. You know when you just want a reference to, call out to you? And all of them are just this is boring. Or, you're going to try and draw this. It's not going to be well. So, but yeah. I'm tired. I think this whole situation shouldn't. I feel like all the other people interacting with the situation is the thing that's making it worse, and it's just ridiculous that this is still going on. I don't think Gabbie in any way, shape, or form thinks that what happened to Jesse wasn't very much rape. I don't think that she's been entirely professional in the situation, or she's just fucking, there's no sin she's had in this scenario. I think she's fucked up completely in a lot of ways, but I also think there were things that Jesse said or did that were just okay, you're not helping. I think people inflated a lot of what they said and did as something as it wasn't, which it probably was at best petty messages or tweets about people that probably had nothing even to do with the rape or that situation. It was probably just because they just have genuine grievances as friends that have nothing to do with that. And I think that's what it was. And people made it into, oh, this is about this situation, or this is about this, what happened here. And it's it has nothing to do with that. It's not what we're talking about. It's not what I'm subtweeting about. It's not what I'm hinting at this video. It has nothing to do with it. I think it's unfair for Gabbie to think, or Jesse keeps bringing it up out of nowhere, and it's no, Jesse gets as many comments as you would get, Jessie probably gets the exact same amount. She has the exact same amount of hate. And so when she brings it up, I'm sure it's because these are the most questions that she's asked. She's probably DM'd about it a lot. When you're in drama that has nothing to do with the situation, that will be brought up no matter what. And I think that it's unfair for I think it's unfair for Gabbie to even suggest that, like, it's somehow her fault. It's like, whether she said something about it or not, that DM's still gonna get having a stroke. A DM's still gonna get sent to her. You know, the messages will still pop up. The drama channels are still gonna talk about it. It doesn't matter if Jessie never talked about it again. It still would be brought up, like, point blank period. It would still be a talking point, a conversation piece, you know? I don't care. And so it's like, I get why she doesn't want it to be talked about, and I don't really like talking about it myself, honestly. But, I don't think anything was on purpose. I don't think anything was malicious on either of their parts. I think it was just a friendship that went sour. A situation that neither of them can control right now, if they wanted to. So, that being said, that's how I feel about it. I think I'm gonna go. And I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Me eat mashed potatoes because I got hungry. I haven't drawn anything because that's my life. You guys can leave suggestions for me, things for me to draw, because I'm kind of shit out of luck right now. Anyway, it's been an hour. I'm gonna go. Have a video coming up maybe this week. I think I might finish like the first part today. I think. Yeah, I could finish the first part today. It's cold enough. Anyways, I'll see you. Bye.